Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back to Empires SMP. I hope you guys are having a good day. I have just had to deal with some intruders and I wasn't recording at the time, sad to say, but Mythical Sausage seems to have led an army of pillagers into my town right as I was logging in. So I had to deal with them and chased him off back into the nether where he ended up getting the is it a balloon advancement. I need to get stuck into some of that spyglass stuff. But anyway, here we are, back in Pixandria. I've made a couple of additions to the town. I've extended the pathways out here, and I really love the way this place is turning out. I've got a little cactus garden at the end of the road here as it splits in multiple directions, but I think I may have to do a little bit of bomb defusal because I just walked into the foundry over there, and the reason I started recording is because this just happened and I wanted to make sure I didn't get caught by surprise by anything else. I came on down here, walked over this pressure plate that I didn't see, and I heard a crinkle, a tinkle, and a splash from a dispenser, which I think had some sort of splash potion in it, although I'm pretty sure it just got shot into the ceiling because I didn't get any status effects, so I don't know exactly what that was. I'm gonna check the other buildings in here just in case something similar has been put together, but it doesn't look like we have one in here. The floor isn't really all that suited for it, but I was taking a look in my storage area and I may have seen something else. Yep, I see a familiar grey outline around that pressure plate. It looks like this has now been trapped. Finally, I was waiting for somebody to do this. And yep, as we walk over it, a splash potion of... Oh, that was poison. That was a splash potion of poison, but unfortunately they didn't realize it has to impact on a block before it will smash on the player. Or I guess maybe if I had just walked up and stood directly on it. Good thing it didn't have a second potion in there, but well played, my friends, well played, but not fast enough to catch the Copper King. Oh no. Well, as you can see, I have been on a bit of a tear getting some enchanted books together for a trident, because I managed to get a trident off of a drowned whilst I was doing a bit of exploring, and I have recently been adding mending to a bunch of my gear, so unfortunately I don't have enough levels to enchant the trident yet, but I've put together a decent amount of books. I think I'll put them all in here just to make sure that they are all earmarked, but we've got loyalty, impaling, channeling, most importantly, unbreaking and mending. I think that's going to be my lightning rod for the rest of the series, and I am planning on still making a drowned farm at some stage in this series. But in the meantime, I had a bit of a project that I wanted to do around here, a kind of centerpiece for Pixandria of sorts that's going to have to do with a community thing on the server, and that you folks in the comments can actually help me out with. Before I explain that though, I finally get to finish off some of the roof terrace of this building over here, because I took a trip over to Scott Smajor's base where he said he could trade me some wool. Huh? Huh?
Hello?
Huh?
See, seeing that you in the distance, I was so confused.
Huh?
For the longest time. See, I watched you creep around that corner and then disappear and then appear up in the distance with the spyglass and then kept trying to lead your sheep back. It was so weird.
I was rescuing him from a nearby mountain. He just got stuck on a ledge and he couldn't pathfind off it. And so I thought...
Oh, so like that one?
Yeah, so I'm like, this must be one of yours. And so I had
no, they're just wild sheep that live nearby. If they've not made it into the pen, they're no longer mine.
I got you. But yeah, I mean, either way, I figured may as well add one to the fold because I've come to trade you for some wool. So
yes, you also brought several tears to my face, so that it was a great show. It was very entertaining.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to entertain. But anyway, the Wandering Trader hat is now off.
Okay.
I brought you some quartz because you said you were in the market for some of that.
I do. Wait, we can do the trade. So here's for you.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I really need cyan wool for some of the stuff I'm building. And I have this much quartz, but I also have this. So if you want to fortune that yourself, go nuts.
I do. Thank you.
I also hear that you're now selling string as well. Am I right in that?
I do. Would you like some string?
I would love some string. First of all, I have a question for you. How many times have you died so far?
Twice.
Okay, then I will need at least 2 string for a thing. I will explain a bit later. But first of all,
Okay.
but like maybe like half a stack or a stack of string. I don't know how much of it you're able to farm, but like whatever you can spare.
I'll see how much I've got, and I'll sleep quickly so we don't get murdered
Yeah,
in the
probably
night.
a good idea. The first time I came over here, I basically had to stop a pillager raid from happening. So
Yeah, I've been murdered by pillagers, as you can tell by the banners in here. So.
yeah, This is an amazing build, though. I love it so much.
Oh, thank you. Let's see.
I also love the fact that you've got Gem's head just tucked into a corner over here.
Oh yeah, I mean that was the time she threatened she was going to steal from me, and I was like, no, you ain't.
Got to protect your borders. Oh,
There you
wonderful!
are.
Thank you so much. This is going to be very, very useful for what I have in mind. I also you're standing in a mountain biome right now, and so I'm wondering if you've come across any emerald ore at all.
I have, but not as ore, because up until yesterday I did not have silk touch, so I was just getting emeralds.
Yeah, that's like a sin to me. I'm like, I must silk touch it and have it. So, word of advice for the future, I will trade basically anything you want for more emerald ore at this point.
Okay.
So if you can get emerald ore silk touched, especially the deep slate stuff. The deep slate stuff is like exceptionally valuable to me. Yeah.
Well, I have my silk touch pickaxe now, so I can definitely do that for you next time I see them.
Great stuff. Yeah. If
I've
you want,
come across so many. Like, I think I had nearly a stack of emeralds with just normal pickaxe. Like, no silk touch, no fortune, like, just about a stack.
oh, it hurts. It hurts to hear you say that. But no, for real, I think there's apparently like a bug in 1.17 that means more emerald ore generates per chunk. So
Love that.
I can
and
see that.
also, I've generated quite a few chunks. So.
Yeah, yeah, you've got a pretty decent mountain range here. But yeah, if you want copper, if you want any of that stuff, I can definitely hook you up. I need emerald ore for a thing,
Okay.
mostly to hoard it like a dragon, but also because I have plans for it a bit later. So if you come across any more,
Next time I see any, I will definitely. I carry my silk touch pickaxe on me now, so I will definitely keep that for you.
beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for the wool as well. And
Well, thank you for the quartz. This is going to help. I'm in the process of building like I'm going to build a big stag statue like here.
Oh, I
But
like that.
I want the antlers to be quartz. So because
Oh,
I
right.
wanted to use calcite, but calcite is only one block. It doesn't turn into stairs. It doesn't turn
Yeah.
into slabs.
Yeah, same
So
with
for
like-
antlers, it's an issue.
for bone blocks and stuff as well is the other thing I can
Yeah.
think of. But yeah, same issue. But that's going to look amazing. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. So.
Well, I hope the new sheep fits in well as well.
Thank you very much. I'm sure he will.
All right.
Hopefully the journey back isn't too rough for you. I know it's a long way.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'll be
I know
fine.
it's a long way.
I've learned to swim with dolphins lately, so it's
We
been
love that.
it's been a little bit easier. All right, take care.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
soon. So now this build finally has its little rooftop gazebo kind of thing up there. I just figured they need a bit of shade if they are up there eating a meal on the rooftop and looking out over the kingdom. But yes, back to what I was saying. The central part of, like, the central square of this town, and there are holes everywhere because I've been digging underneath this trying to get some sandstone, so forgive the state of things right now. But the central part of the town, which I think is going to be about here, is going to have this kind of monument. And I want it to be a monument to basically all of the times that everybody on the server has died, which could get out of hand pretty quickly if people start wars and start bringing pillagers round to my base and everything. First, though, we have to build the monument itself. And I have a fairly simple, fairly elegant design in mind that was actually one of the drafts for the pylons that I was building out here. It involves a conduit and a few other materials, which I'm just going to quickly build up in the center here. And then we can officially start counting off how many times people on the server have died. All hail the Emperor of Mazalia.
Hello. How's it going?
Hi.
You came in speedy with your dolphin. I was not expecting that.
Sorry, my dolphin taxi is. I need to pay the meter. Hang on a second. There we go.
Nice.
Hello. You're right. Can I?
Yeah.
Let's.
Oh, you got your wandering trader outfit.
I do. The wandering trader always shows up with an animal on a lead. In my case, it's a little bit less conventional, but I figured we may as well do it. This is my first time being at your base, by the way. Wow. Can I just say?
Thank you. It's very orange, isn't it?
It's orange and all of the other colors, but that's the best part about it. I just love the style. Very nice.
Thank you. I've still not been to yours yet. I think you're about 2,000 blocks or something ridiculous.
Hence the dolphin. Yeah, I kind of need all the speed I can get to get back to my base.
So I hear you're in need of terracotta, as you can see by the surrounding area. I'm not short on terracotta.
Yeah, you've got a fair amount of it, so much that you're more or less trying to get rid of it at this point, I think. Yeah, it's like me and sand, really. I've got a fair amount of that going on, although I am trying my best to build with some of it. But yeah, I was planning on using some terracotta in a couple of builds I've got going on, and you said you were in need of some honeycomb or some candles?
Exactly. How much terracotta are you in need of? That's the question.
I would say at least 4 stacks.
We can do that.
I will put this down and say this is the amount of honeycomb that I have in reserve. The stuff is coming out of my ears. I mean, not literally out of my ears. I'm not making candles out of my earwax. But I have so much honeycomb at this point, so people can make all the candles they want if they've got stuff to trade.
Okay, well, you know what? If I can have that entire shulker, there's a good amount of terracotta there that you can take.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Have you got an ender chest around somewhere that I can stash some of this in?
I do not. No.
Okay.
But you know what? You can take the shulker. I'll just take all this out.
Yeah, that's fine. If the shulker doesn't need to be part of the deal, then absolutely.
Well, I would have taken it, but you know what? It's your shulker. It's nice and orange. Keep the shulker.
I've got a couple of those handy as well if you're in the need. And speaking of which, I heard that you also had some Hearts of the Sea somewhere.
Ooh.
So maybe if you chuck me a couple of those, and I'll take the terracotta with me, and you can keep the shulker. How about that?
I love that deal.
Excellent.
That deal. There you go.
Oh, amazing.
Have 3.
3. Thank you so much, man. These things are going to be so difficult to come by later on when I've got to light up my entire kingdom with those. But yeah, like all this terracotta is going to go a long way. So thank you very much.
I'll come have a look at what you do with it when you're done with it. Let's say, 'cause I need to visit your kingdom at some point.
And on that subject, I have one more question for you before I head off, and that is, how many times have you died so far?
Oh, a lot. I did kill myself earlier to get some skulls.
Okay.
12. How many of you died?
Let me take a quick look here. I think it's only a couple. Number of deaths 6. Okay, so about half the amount. All right. This is for a thing, the nature of which I will reveal a little bit later.
Right. Okay. Well, let me know about that. Mine might increase, to be honest.
Yes.
I like getting my own skull and putting it on.
I mean, you've got to make sure everybody knows who's the king around here, right? So you've got to have statues of yourself and stuff around. Well, I will come back and do a bit of exploring maybe at a later date because this place looks fascinating. But for now, I must be off to use my terracotta.
Okay, have fun. Thank you for the shulker. Thank you for the beeswax or honeycomb or whatever it is.
Yes, no worries. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
To the dolphin. So after a quick visit to Misalia to pick up some terracotta, I can now introduce to you guys the Vigil. So this is going to be our monument in the center of town, and I'm still kind of integrating the paths and stuff around here. I'm still trying to work out where a lot of this stuff should go. But we have 11 candles around the outside here, all of which are the standard candle texture for now. They're just like the regular creamy colored off-white candles that you get when you craft them. But I'm thinking what we're going to do is make a few more of these, and then for each of the empires on the server, they're going to have a different color. Now, I'm obviously choosing cyan for Scott Smajor because he's building a lot with cyan colors, kind of like I am here and there, but I'm using it as like the copper accent color, whereas he seems to be going with the whole cyan wool kind of vibe. And so if I put 2 candles down here and light those, that's there to represent how many times Scott Smajor has died so far. And we could potentially put one of the candles in here as a cyan candle as well, since it represents his empire. And so in the last clip, we learned that Joel has died 12 times already, so we're going to have to make a few extra candles for him, and I think his color is probably going to be more of like a magenta. I think because he's using a lot of like crimson wood and magenta, terracotta, and that kind of color palette over there. Like that's the color that really stood out to me, that kind of like beetroot, magenta, reddish pink kind of color. So I think we will put 12 candles around here, and we're going to have to do those in 3 clusters of 4, there we go, to represent all the times Joel has died so far. And I have a feeling this section is going to get a little bit crowded. And maybe, we can change up the colors if we decide on something a little bit different for a different empire further down the road. You can let me know in the comments if you think any of these colors don't necessarily suit the the empires that we are choosing them for, and I can adjust things as we go. But I really like the idea of, I don't know, taking death a little bit more seriously in Minecraft, especially after how disastrous our end heist went to begin with. I feel responsible for the deaths of some of my server mates, and I want it all to feel like it has a bit more of an impact when we start going to war with each other and stuff. And so something like this maybe adds, if not like an overtly spiritual element to dying in Minecraft, then at least commemorates it in some form or another and feels like it adds a bit of gravity to it when we die. We're so used to just picking up and moving on from a death in Minecraft now that I think doing something like this makes it feel a little bit more serious, and that's kind of the tone I want to take with this, weirdly enough. And so this is kind of where you folks in the comments section come in, because I know a lot of you folks are really keen on watching the other folks on Empires SMP, probably more than you watch me, to be honest. And so what I hoped I could get your help with is maybe identifying when some of the other folks on this server die, whether on camera or on streams or anything like that, and let me know in the comments section of my more recent videos. That way I can really keep this thing up to date and not have to keep bugging my server mates about, hey, did you die a couple of days ago? I feel like if you folks get involved, then we can keep the Vigil updated throughout the server's lifespan. And who knows, the candles might spill over onto the paths and into the areas around the town here, but I like the idea of having a more constant monument to the amount of times we each died on the server. For my candles, I think I'm probably going to stay with the base candle color, simply because it's the color of the sand and sandstone here in the desert, and I think orange and that turquoisey cyan blue color fit my server mates a little bit more. There isn't really like a peachy coloured candle that suits the in-between phases of the copper or the exposed copper. So I really think that these candles representing the amount of times that I've died makes a little bit more sense. And if we light up 6 of those, that accounts for how many times I've died on the server so far. I'm pretty sure Catherine Elizabeth said that House Blossom's colours were going to be mainly blue, so I'm going to put a blue candle here, light that for Catherine, and I know Catherine's died at least once so far, because I was kind of responsible for that. So we can add to the blue candles here, and every time we add another blue candle to this set, then they are going to also be lit, so we can basically add lit candles without having to light everything on fire with the flint and steel over and over again. Gemini Tay has died at least 3 times, because I was responsible for 2 of those, and then Scott Smajor was responsible for 1 of them. So we're going to light a purple candle there, and I love the purple candle texture, actually, it's really nice. And we're going to light 3 candles here for Gem. If we end up having to add more to this, because she's died more than that, then that's something you guys will have to let me know about. I know Pearlescent Moon has died at least once, because once again, I was responsible for that, and I'm using orange for Pearl's color because she's kind of going with that rusty kind of rural aesthetic to her builds. It's all kind of like farming based stuff, so orange seems to fit the bill there. And then I'm going to include Mythical Sausage over here because again, I killed him at least once, and I've chosen black for his candles because I was thinking brown, but I don't have any brown dye. So I need to go back to the jungle and get some cocoa beans for my palm tree and for dyeing some candles brown. So we still have candles left here for Fwip, for LD Shadow Lady, for Solidarity, and for our newest member on the server, Joey Grisefa, who unfortunately I didn't blur out of all the places I should have blurred out his name in my last video, but that's fine because I think he'd already announced it by the time my video went out. I didn't want to spoil anything, but there you go. We will have a candle here for Joey as well once he gets his empire a little bit more established and we know what his deal is. And so that's where we're at so far. And so once again, this is where you folks come in. If you can let me know how often some of the other members on the server have died, that will really help me keep this thing updated. And we'll probably come back to this several times in future videos, especially if conflict breaks out on the server. And if the conduit up there kind of gives you Eye of Sauron vibes, that is kind of the point. This kind of feels to me like an ever-watchful eye keeping track of all of the people on the server who have died. And it kind of represents you as an audience as well. So think about that a little bit. But with the Vigil started as a project, I think it's time to move on to the next phase of the video. I really need a honey farm, because a honey farm is kind of going to go hand in hand with our honeycomb farm over here, and having lost a few honey blocks in our trip to the end, I really need them back. I need to get hold of a bunch of honey blocks for a thing I have planned, and with that in mind, I think it's time to build a honey farm. Hey folks, welcome back. So here we have a honey farm, and it's a slightly different design to one I've done in the past, but I think it's worked out pretty well because now I've got the hoppers on top of the dispensers, thanks to a bit of a rewire of the redstone stuff behind the scenes. Just putting a block in between the comparator and the redstone line makes it slightly different from the design I did in the survival guide a while ago, but it does mean the design ends up having vertical storage barrels, which means I think that the bees won't get stuck up around the hoppers, because occasionally they would go into the hitbox of a hopper and not be able to get back into the hive, I think, in the previous design. So the hives themselves, I actually went around finding some bee nests, some active bee nests in the wild, and I've actually started a relatively successful operation to farm these over there with a little birch field. So now we have a couple more bee nests that we can transfer in here, mainly because they just look better, and I managed to get a whole bunch of them in here. We're going to add some flowers to each of these displays, but before we add in the bee nests, we have to add in the glass bottles to all of these dispensers, and the dispensers do have to be filled up with glass bottles in order to dispense the honey bottles out into the hoppers below. The cool thing about this design, of course, though, is that we can always reach into the dispensers and clear up any honey that ends up in there if we start to run out of glass bottles, which we will, because there are 20 dispensers to fill full of glass bottles here. I'm probably going to put like 5 or 6 in each space for now, just to preserve the glass, and then from there we'll see how that gets on as we smelt up some more glass for bottles behind the scenes. We could also get them from a witch farm if anyone wants to set that up, or I guess we could probably trade some glass from librarians, but even so, this farm should be at least functional. Still not sure what I'm going to do with the outside yet, and we'll probably do a bit of that between episodes, just so I can work on a design for this in creative, but I think it's going to fit in quite nicely next to the honeycomb farm here and right behind the Vigil. But to at least prove that this farm is productive, I'm going to go away and make some glass bottles. We're going to start putting the hives in the farm, and hopefully we should have a few honey blocks before the episode is done. And once these bees decide to return to their nests, this will be the last couple of bee nests we need. We've actually got one extra because I wasn't expecting 2 of these trees to generate nests at once, but they seem to have done that. And yep, like, looks like we got a lot of bees here, so that's a very good thing for me. I was worried I might need to breed up a few more in the honey farm, but it's already going pretty well. I already got a few honey blocks, as you can see, from my hotbar, and a few more in storage as well. So this is all going pretty well so far. The bees are occasionally flying off and damaging themselves on the cacti, but that is kind of why we have the confines of the honey farm to make sure that they are safe. And it looks like both the bees have pollinated and returned home, so we can scoop up these 2 hives and use them in the honey farm. Let's quickly sleep before the creepers and stuff start to come out. And then if I just hop on into the farm, as you can see, loads of bees on this side, only a couple over here though, so I'm thinking what we might do is breed up a couple of these using flowers just to make sure there are enough on each side that we're going to be getting maximized honey production. But this side here is the last one we need to do. Just got to break out the glass using Silk Touch here and replace that with some slabs like so. And then on top of each of these hoppers, we're going to be placing our hives. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Perfect. And now all the bees should be coming out and buzzing merrily around their flowers. Let's check the productivity of the farm. Yes, we've still got some more honey bottles coming in after I just cleared this thing out. Perfect, 21, and a little bit of honey left over as well. We're still smelting up glass here in the furnaces to make a few more glass bottles, but we're going to get our glass bottles back every time we turn these bottles of honey into honey blocks. So once we have a full capacity for the farm, we just need to make sure we keep topping up those barrels and we should be good to go. And let's add this. Yeah, we've already got our first stack of honey blocks back. Fantastic. That's exactly where we need to be to start my next big project. And look at how this map is filling in as well. The copper field is going strong and the map is really starting to take shape here. But I think that's where we're going to leave it for this episode of Empires SMP. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.